Have you ever trusted someone so completely, only to have them betray you in the worst possible way? That's what happened to me, and it changed my life forever. My name is Sarah, 28, a hardworking professional chasing my dream career. I believed in loyalty, honesty, and giving my best. But the person I trusted the most, my boss, Mr. Harrison, 45, charismatic on the outside but ruthless behind closed doors, had other plans. If you are watching this right now, drop a comment letting me know where you are viewing from. Before I tell you about this life-changing decision, hit like and subscribe to hear more real stories. This is a story of deceit, heartbreak, and revenge. The story of how a single person's greed can turn your world upside down, and how I fought back to reclaim what was mine. Then there's Linda, my colleague and friend, 30, someone I thought would support me through thick and thin, but even she couldn't predict what was about to unfold. The betrayal didn't just cost me my job, it almost destroyed my future, my reputation, and my self-belief. It all started on a bright Monday morning. I walked into the office feeling excited about a new project I had been working on for weeks. I was proud, confident, and ready to impress. My boss, Mr. Harrison, greeted me with a smile that day. At first, everything seemed normal. Supportive words, nods of approval, even a pat on the back. I thought I had earned his trust. I thought I mattered. But I didn't see the subtle looks he exchanged with Linda, my colleague, the ones that made my stomach twist with unease. Little did I know, those whispers and secret meetings were the first signs of a betrayal that would shake my life to its core. I poured my heart into every task, stayed late, sacrificed weekends, all believing that loyalty and hard work would protect me. But loyalty can be dangerous when the people around you have hidden agendas. That Monday felt ordinary. But it wasn't. That was the day the storm began, the day my world started to crumble slowly. And the worst part? I had no idea it was coming. A few weeks after that Monday, I started noticing small changes. Projects I once led confidently were being reassigned without explanation. Mr. Harrison began calling me into meetings that felt more like interrogations than guidance. The warmth I once felt from him had vanished, replaced with a cold, calculating tone. Then came the rumors. Whispered comments in the hallway, subtle digs from colleagues I trusted. And worst of all, Linda started acting differently. She smiled less, avoided my desk, and sometimes gave me that look, a look that made me question if our friendship had ever been real. I tried to brush it off, telling myself I was overthinking, but deep down, my gut screamed danger. Something was brewing, and I had no idea how personal it would get. The betrayal wasn't just professional, it was about to hit me in the heart. Every late night, every extra effort I made, suddenly felt like a trap I didn't even know I was walking into. I still remember the day I found out. My heart sank, my hands shook, and I couldn't breathe. I had worked tirelessly on a major project, a project I thought would secure my promotion. I stayed late nights, skipped weekends, poured my soul into it. And yet, in one meeting, Mr. Harrison announced that the credit was going to Linda, framing it as if she had led the entire effort. I couldn't speak. My mind raced. The betrayal cut deeper than I could have imagined, not just from my boss, but from someone I trusted as a friend. Linda smiled at Harrison, eyes gleaming with satisfaction, while I sat frozen, feeling invisible, humiliated, and powerless. It wasn't just the lost recognition, it was the realization that people I believed in could turn against me so easily. That day, I understood something painful. In the professional world, trust can be weaponized. And that was only the beginning. After that meeting, I couldn't focus. Every task felt heavy, every smile from colleagues felt forced. The office, once a place of ambition and dreams, had become a battlefield. I replayed the betrayal over and over in my head. Linda taking credit, Harrison watching it all happen with that smug, satisfied look. I tried to speak up, to defend myself, but every word I uttered seemed dismissed or twisted. The humiliation wasn't just professional, it was personal. I felt isolated, doubting my own abilities, wondering if I had misjudged everyone around me. Even my nights were sleepless. I would stare at the ceiling, heart racing, imagining ways I could confront them, but fear held me back. Fear of losing everything I had worked for. Fear of retaliation. Fear that no one would believe me. That's when I realized something terrifying. The betrayal wasn't just a mistake or misunderstanding. It was calculated, intentional, and it had changed my life forever. Days turned into weeks, and the weight of betrayal pressed harder on me. Every interaction with Mr. Harrison felt like walking on a minefield. Every time I passed Linda in the hallway, her smirk reminded me of the injustice I endured. I couldn't escape it, at work or in my thoughts. I started questioning myself. Did I miss signs? Did I misjudge my own abilities? But deep down, I knew the truth. I had been betrayed, deliberately, by people I trusted the most. The breaking point came one afternoon. I overheard Harrison and Linda laughing in the corner office, talking about how easily they had manipulated me. My chest tightened, and anger replaced the fear I had been carrying. That was the moment I made a silent vow. I refused to be their victim any longer. I would reclaim my life, my career, and my dignity. After that day, I realized I couldn't rely on luck or hope anymore. I had to take control. I started observing every move of Mr. Harrison and Linda, noting patterns, weaknesses, and moments when their guard dropped. Every smile, every whisper, every careless word became a clue. I began documenting everything: the emails, the meetings, the conversations, proof of their manipulation and betrayal. It wasn't easy. I had to stay calm, act normal, and hide the storm building inside me. Every day was a tightrope walk between staying professional and keeping my secret. The anger I had felt before transformed into determination. I knew that revenge wasn't about violence or shouting. It was about strategy, about reclaiming what they had stolen from me. And slowly, piece by piece, I was putting my plan together. For the first time in weeks, I felt a spark of hope. I knew I couldn't confront them blindly. If I wanted justice, I had to be smart. So, I started gathering undeniable evidence: emails where Harrison manipulated clients, documents showing Linda taking credit for my work, even recordings of their secret conversations. Every piece built a clearer picture of their deceit. It was exhausting, both mentally and emotionally. Some nights, I cried, feeling the weight of the betrayal, wondering if I had the strength to see this through. But the thought of being powerless again pushed me forward. Then, one afternoon, I found the first real opportunity: a client email proving Harrison had lied about a major deal, taking credit for my ideas. My heart raced. This was my first real weapon, the first piece of proof that I could use to expose them. For the first time since the betrayal, I felt the thrill of control. The game had begun, and I was ready. With the first piece of proof in my hands, I felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. Every day at the office became a delicate dance. I smiled, I nodded, I pretended everything was normal, all while hiding the storm building inside me. Harrison grew more arrogant, unaware that I was watching, recording, and planning. Linda, too, continued her smug games, thinking she was untouchable. But I knew the cracks in their armor were there. I just had to wait for the perfect moment. The emotional toll was heavy. I felt guilty for betraying the trust I had once placed in others, yet angry that they had taken so much from me. Nights were restless. My mind replayed every insult, every manipulation, every moment I was made to feel small. And then a single careless mistake from Harrison gave me exactly what I needed. The moment I had been waiting for, the opening to turn the tables, was finally here. The moment finally arrived. Harrison had left his office door slightly open while reviewing reports, and I saw the opportunity I had been waiting for. With my heart pounding, I stepped inside and carefully retrieved the emails and documents that proved everything: the lies, the manipulations, the stolen credit. I could feel my hands shaking, but I forced myself to stay calm. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming my dignity, my career, and my self-respect. I had been humiliated, overlooked, and betrayed, but now I held the power. Later that day, I sent a carefully worded email to the company's top management, attaching undeniable proof of their deceit. I waited, every second stretching into an eternity. The fear, the adrenaline, the hope, they collided inside me like a storm. That night, as I left the office, I finally felt something I hadn't felt in weeks, a sense of control. The tables were turning, and they had no idea it was coming. The next morning, the office felt different, tense, heavy, almost electric. I watched from my desk as Harrison walked past, his confident smile gone, replaced by something I had never seen before. Fear. Linda's usual smirk was gone too, replaced by frantic whispers and worried glances. I couldn't help but feel a mix of satisfaction and sadness. Part of me mourned the betrayal I had endured, the trust I had lost, the friendships that weren't real. But another part of me felt alive, powerful, and finally free from their manipulation. Management called Harrison and Linda into a meeting, and I overheard snippets of their panic. My evidence had done its job. The humiliation, the lies, the deceit. They were finally being exposed. For the first time in months, I breathed. I hadn't just survived. I had reclaimed my voice, my respect, and a piece of my life that I thought was lost forever. With Harrison and Linda facing the consequences, I finally felt a sense of relief. But the journey wasn't over. The betrayal had left scars that no apology could heal. I spent days reflecting on everything, my choices, my trust, and the lessons learned. I realized something important. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about finding my strength, my resilience, and my self-worth. Every sleepless night, every tear, every moment of doubt had shaped me into someone stronger, sharper, and more aware of the people around me. Colleagues who once ignored me began to respect me again, not because I was proving them wrong, but because I had proven myself. I was no longer the person who blindly trusted everyone. I was someone who knew my value, my limits, and my power. And for the first time in a long time, I felt proud, not just of surviving, but of rising stronger from the betrayal that had almost destroyed me. After the storm of betrayal had passed, I realized I had a choice: stay bitter and trapped in the past, or rebuild my life stronger than before. I chose the latter. I started focusing on my skills, my passions, and the work I loved. Every project became a statement, not of revenge, but of my capability, my dedication, and my resilience. Slowly, people began to notice. Not just my colleagues, but industry leaders, mentors, and friends who had always doubted me. The emotional scars were still there, reminders of what I had endured, but they became my strength. Every setback, every tear, every moment of doubt had prepared me for this moment. For the first time in months, I felt hope. Not the fragile, fleeting hope of before, but a strong, unwavering belief that I could take control of my career and my life, no matter what anyone tried to steal from me. As I rebuilt myself, opportunities I had never imagined began to appear. Companies reached out, impressed by my work and my resilience. Colleagues who had ignored me now sought my advice. For the first time, I realized that the betrayal, as painful as it was, had opened doors I didn't know existed. I also discovered a new sense of confidence. I no longer felt the need to prove myself to anyone who had doubted me. Instead, I focused on growth, learning, and building relationships with people who truly valued honesty and integrity. Every success, no matter how small, felt like a victory, not just against those who had betrayed me, but against the fear and self-doubt that had once held me back. The pain of the past remained, but it no longer defined me. I had turned my darkest moments into the foundation of something stronger, something unstoppable. Months passed, and the results of my perseverance became undeniable. Harrison and Linda were no longer in positions of power, and their influence had crumbled. Meanwhile, I was thriving, respected, recognized, and finally in control of my career. But the true victory wasn't just professional, it was emotional. I had faced betrayal, humiliation, and heartbreak. Yet I emerged stronger, wiser, and more self-assured. I learned that trust is precious, but self-respect is priceless. I also found forgiveness, not for them, but for myself. I forgave myself for the pain, the sleepless nights, and the moments I doubted my own worth. That forgiveness unlocked a freedom I hadn't known I needed. Standing there, looking back at the storm I had survived, I realized something powerful. Betrayal can break you, or it can build you into someone unstoppable. I had chosen to rise. Looking back, I can't believe how far I've come. The pain of betrayal still lingers at times, but it no longer controls me. I've learned that true strength isn't just about fighting back. It's about learning, growing, and reclaiming your life after it's been shattered. I now approach my career and relationships with caution, wisdom, and confidence. I trust myself first, knowing that self-respect and integrity are my most valuable assets. Opportunities continue to come, but now I see them with clarity. I know my worth, and I won't settle for less. Most importantly, I've discovered a new sense of peace. The betrayal that once threatened to destroy me has become the foundation for my success, my resilience, and my courage. This isn't just a story of revenge. It's a story of survival, growth, and a life reclaimed. The storm passed, and I am stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever comes next.